we get accused a lot of times of saying, well, this is where Deliverance was filmed. I don't think it was, but we did suffer socially about 50 years. It set us back about 50 years up there on the Hiawassee. But that movie was actually filmed on the Chattooga River up in North Georgia. Now that song was popular in the early 1970s on the radio. So as a young man, I'm kind of interested in that bluegrass music. I mean, given the choice at the time, bluegrass or disco, I chose bluegrass because I'd heard that bluegrass music on one of my favorite television shows years before. See if y'all can remember what show this song was from, and if you remember the words, sing along here. And one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude. Oh, it is black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old gentleman there, and folks say, Dad, move away from there. Said California is the place you ought to be, so they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars. Content. Didn't have nothing to do with Ellie Mae Clampett being on there. No. Before there was Daisy Duke, there was Ellie Mae. But I did have another good influence on my musical choice at the time. My dear sweet grandmother loved all the old country gospel and bluegrass gospel classics. Now, grandmother lived about halfway between Atlanta, Georgia and Macon, Georgia, in a little town called High Falls, Georgia. And she dearly missed her family that had moved off to Florida. But she hated to ride in the car all the way down there to Florida and all the way back. It bothered her hips pretty bad. So we figured out a solution. We got her one day. We said, Grandmother, we figured out what we can do. We're going to drive you about 30 minutes up the road to Hartsfield Airport. We're going to buy you 2 tickets on Delta and fly you down to Florida, where our kinfolk, your daughter and son-in-law down there, pick you up, take you in for a week down there, fly you back, and we'll pick you up and bring you home. She looked at us like we was crazy. She said, I ain't getting on no airplane. I believe she ascribed to the Jerry Clower belief that Jesus said, and lo, I will be with you. Nothing about being with you up high in an airplane. But at the end of the conversation, she turned to me and a few of the other grandkids, and she winked and said, but one day I will fly away. And that was her favorite song to sing in her little country church, was I'll Fly Away. And she did 3 months after she turned 93 years old. Had a great life on the farm. So if y'all know the first verse and the chorus, sing along with me here to I'll Fly Away. Some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. Picking between 2 different college football teams. Generally the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets or the Georgia Bulldogs. Well, in 2001 we moved to Cleveland, Tennessee, and I looked out amongst the population and all I saw was orange. I wondered what the other school. Well, I joined the Waterville Baptist Church there in Cleveland. And one day Deacon Rick Owenby come up to me, and of course he had his orange bow tie on, his orange and white cuff links in the shape of the T. And he asked me, he says, appreciate you joining our church there, but what's your favorite football team? I said, well, Deacon, I'll be honest with you, I like all the SEC teams. Love watching SEC football, great football. Color left his face and his jaw dropped to the ground. He says, "Son, that's a problem up here." He says, "But I can help you." So he went out to his car and brought me back two of the prettiest orange T-shirts with a big white T on it. Said, "Congratulations, you're Tennessee fans now." And he wanted me and wanted my wife. I said, "Well, Deacon, what's the other college in Tennessee?" He said, "Oh, there ain't one. There ain't one. Don't worry about it." I did find out, though, there was this little school in Nashville, Band of something or other. But you don't see their fans painting their cars, trucks, or houses, or barns, or farm animals, their school colors, do you? So I figured it was worthy to be a Tennessee fan. Well, a couple of weeks later, Deacon Owen came up to me again. He said, "Hey, fella, somebody told me you played a banjo." I said, "Well, Deacon, I play at it a little bit." He said, "Well, I'm going to do you a favor and let you know. By state law, within 6 months of moving to the great state of Tennessee, there's one song that you have to be able to play on your banjo. So take a wild guess what that song is. Rocky Top. I was born and raised on Rocky Top, up in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoke or smog on Rocky Top, ain't no cell phone bills. Once I had a girl on Rocky Top, half fair, the other half cat. Wild as a mean but sweet as sody pop, I still dream about that. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, woo, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Alright, thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day. By the way, my regular route is I'm a conductor on the Hiwassee River Railroad. If you haven't ridden the Hiwassee River Railroad, we invite you to come out and ride the prettiest ride in east of the Mississippi. Now, some of them western railroads got us beat for scenery, but none of them east. We got the prettiest ride through the mountains of Tennessee out of Etowah, Tennessee. You buy tickets at the old depot, pick them up there if you order online, and we take you all the way up the mountain parallel the Hiwassee River the whole time. There's not a road or a sign of civilization for about 20 miles through there. Even this year we have brand new deal. We have dome cars up there. And so you sit up in that dome car, you are literally right up there with the eagles. We get to see bald eagles fairly regular up there. Yeah. There goes a hairy eagle there. He ain't bald yet. But come ride on the Hiwassee River Railroad. We have two different trip options. One is our short trip. It's about a half-day trip. Leave out of Etowah about 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon. Run up the mountain and through the great Hiwassee Loop. We have one of the few loops left in America. And once you get on top of that loop, you can look over, you can see for miles and miles. Or we have the full-day trip. Leave out about 9 o'clock in the morning out of the depot. Go all the way down to Copper Hill, Tennessee, which is right on the Tennessee-Georgia line. Let you out for a couple hours, eat a nice lunch in town, get you back on the train, get back to Etowah, generally about 6 o'clock that evening.
That's a great trip, by the way.
Have you taken it?
That was our first trip.
See, we got fans already right here. But it is one of the most scenic trips, and I know in the state of Tennessee, I'll put it up against anything on the eastern seaboard.
How late in the year do they run at?
We only have 2 more weekends left. We generally finish up the weekend before Thanksgiving. But we start the first weekend in April.